Hey guys, this is Niall Lammers of Invoked 101, and today I'm doing the Salamangreat structure deck. This is basically 3 of them that we picked up and put together. You know, if you follow our Instagram, you'll know that Mio actually got 2 of these, and I picked up 1. I actually was going to build Mio Salamangreats way back when they first came out of Soul Fusion, but ended up, I just didn't know how to play them or how they wanted to play. But now with the new structure deck, they do have a pretty definitive play style, which is a very link climby, graveyard heavy strategy of recurrence and what they call reincarnate link summoning. So with that in mind, we're going to take a look through the Salamangreat deck and just go over everything. Again, this is just a $30 budget version. This is just using cards from 3 of the Salamangreat structure decks. I do have some cards that I do plan on putting into it once I get some other stuff to make it more competitive, and I will be doing a more competitive version of this one as well. So without further ado, we're going to set some stuff aside and we're going to talk about the main monster lineup. Alright, so the first monster we're playing is 3 Salamangreat Gazelle. So Gazelle is really cool, and I'm pretty sure this is the one that I really like. So keep in mind, I haven't had time to really read these cards or play with them. I did a couple test hands with them and made some pretty decent boards with them, but as far as like knowing their effects off the top of my head, I haven't gotten there yet. So I'm going to grab 1 copy of Gazelle and I'm going to read it for you guys. So this card is it says, if a Salamangreat monster is sent to your graveyard except Gazelle, and except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is normal or specialed, you can send 1 Salamangreat card from your deck to the graveyard. Except Gazelle, you can only use each effect once per turn. So that's very nice that you get both effects in 1 turn. It is a level 3, which is pretty nice, and it does summon itself, and it's a foolish for the entire archetype. Very cool, very useful. The next one we have is... Oh god, I dropped one. That's okay. Whoa. Whoa. Alright, there we go. The next one we have is another level 3 Salamangreat, and that is 3 Salamangreat Spinny. This is one of the other ones from the structure deck. A lot of the stuff from the structure deck you actually play because it's pretty good. Again, I'm going to grab 1 copy and read it for you guys. So the other level 3 Cybers, and it says, if you control a Salamangreat card, you can discard this card, target a face-up monster on the field, gains 500 attack until the end of this turn. If you control a Salamangreat monster other than Spinny, and this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card but banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use each effect of Spinny once per turn. So there's a good way to get it into the graveyard, and then of course it can special summon itself. So if you just need that extra summon, you can trigger himself, and then you can dodge the banishing effect by putting him under a Xyz monsters such as the one included, which is Mirage Stalio. So, but we'll get more to the extra deck when we get to the extra deck. So after those 2, we have 2 Salamangreat Foxy. Salamangreat Foxy, when he is normal summoned, you can excavate the top 3 cards of your deck and then add 1 excavated Salamangreat card and then shuffle the other ones back. And then I believe he has another effect, which is this card is in your graveyard and a face-up spell or trap is on the field. Discard a Salamangreat card, special summon this card, then you can destroy 1 face-up spell or trap on the field. You can only use 1 Foxy effect and only once that turn. So you only get 1 of the effects. You don't get both like Spinny and Gazelle, which really does suck, but that's all right. The next one we play is Salamangreat Fox-er, which is a pretty similar card. So I'm going to grab, this is one I haven't had time to read. So it says, if you have 3 or more Salamangreat monsters in your graveyard, send this card from your hand to the graveyard, target a Salamangreat link in your graveyard, and 1 card in your opponent's spell and trap zone, return the targeted monster from the graveyard to the extra deck, and if you do, destroy the targeted card on the field. If a card in your opponent's spell and trap zone is destroyed and sent to the graveyard while this card is in your graveyard, except during damage step, special summon this card in defense position. You can only use 1 Foxer effect and only once that turn. Oh my god, that's a lot of text. Jesus. A lot of convoluted text to say, pop a spell and trap by shuffling an extra deck monster back. Pretty insane. The next one I play is 2 Salamangreat Foul. I think Foul is pretty good, and it also lets you save some of your summons when comboed with another, your normal summon when comboed with another card. So I'm going to grab this one and read it for you guys. If a Salamangreat monster except Foul is normal or special summoned, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only use this effect of Foul once per turn. You can send a Salamangreat card from your hand or face-up field to the graveyard, target a set spell or trap your opponent controls. That set card can't be activated that turn. I'm noticing a theme here that these cards just don't like back row. which is probably why they're pretty popular right now, because they just hate back row. But yeah, pretty neat. It's just a free, I believe he's a level 4. Yeah, free level 4 summon, and he does help us out with our other level 4s. He's just one of the good ones to play. So along with him being the other level 4s that we play, I play 2 Jack Jaguar. A lot of people only play 1. I feel it's up to preference for the Jack Jaguar, and I'll read you his effect too. So, if this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage. If you control a Salamangreat Link monster while this card's in your graveyard, target a Salamangreat monster in your graveyard except Jack Jaguar, shuffle it into the deck, and if you do, special summon this card to a zone your Salamangreat Link monster points to. You can only use this effect of Jack Jaguar once per turn. So, pretty cool. Just recurrence on itself, that's pretty nice. And then for the last level 4 that I run, I play 1 Falco. A lot of people only play 1 Falco, and I just kind of copied that. I was like, oh, I'll just play the 1 Falco, that's fine. So his effect is, if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 Salamangreat spell or trap in your graveyard, set that target to your field. If this card is in your graveyard, you can target 1 Salamangreat monster you control, except Falco, return that monster to the hand, and if you do special summon this card, you can only use 1 Salamangreat Falco effect per turn, and only once that turn, so that's pretty cool. I feel you're going to be using his graveyard recurrence effect a lot more, but yeah, so there's all the level 4s, which make this deck, it gives you pretty good level 3, level 4 access with this number. And then I also play 1 Salamangreat Beat Bison. I read Beat Bison and I liked him. So his effect is, if you have 3 or more Salamangreat monsters in your graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand in defense position. You can target a Fire Link monster. You can target Fire Link monsters in your graveyard up to the number of face-up cards your opponent controls. Return them to the extra deck. Then you can negate the effects of face-up cards your opponent controls until the end of this turn. Up to the number of cards returned. You can only use each effect of Beat Bison once per turn. So pretty decent. I just like him. I like him. That's simple. That's it for the Salamangreat monsters. Again, this is just using stuff out of the structure deck, so no Lady Debug. I do have some Lady Debugs set aside, and they will be in the more competitive version. I just have to pick them up. After that, 3 Ash Blossom. This comes in the structure deck, so there's no reason you shouldn't be playing it. Just free hand traps, really. And then 2 Kaiju. I felt that I needed 2 more monsters, and I was like, you know what? The Kaiju is pretty good, just spot removal, so I threw in the Kaiju. And that's it for the monsters. So we do have some spells going on here. So for the first spell, I play 3 Salamangreat Circle. This is a quick play Roto, really. This thing is pretty cool. This is one of the other new cards from the structure deck. Here, I'll take 1 copy and read it for you guys. Activate one of these effects. Add a Salamangreat from your deck to your hand, a Salamangreat monster. Or target a Salamangreat Link monster you control that was Link summoned using a monster with its name as material, so reincarnated Link summon. That Link monster is unaffected by monster effects this turn except its own. You can only activate 1 circle per turn. But yeah, pretty dope that it can just search whatever. I think search any of the monsters. I think that's awesome. And then for the next spell, I run the continuous spell at 3, and that is Will of the Salamangreat. So this card is pretty dope. I read the first effect of this card, and I was like, awesome, I'm playing 3. And the first effect is, it's like during your main phase, you can special summon 1 Salamangreat from your hand or graveyard. That's amazing. Then it has another effect of, you can send this face-up card from the field to the graveyard, target 1 Salamangreat Link monster you control that was Link summoned using a monster with its same name as material. Special summon a Salamangreat monster from the hand or graveyard in defense position up to the number of that monster's link rating. You can only use 1 Will of the Salamangreat effect per turn, and only once that turn. But still, usually you're using the special summoning effect to just kick off your turn. After that, I play 3 Sanctuary. This is their field spell. This lets you reincarnate Link Summon. This lets you, I'll read it for you guys. If you Link Summon a Salamangreat Link monster, you can use 1 Salamangreat Link monster you control with its same name as the entire material. During damage calc of your monster battles, you may pay 1,000 life points, then target a Link monster you control, make its attack 0, and if you do, gain life point equal to its original attack. You can only use each Sanctuary effect once per turn. But you're really just using this for reincarnate Link summoning Heat Leo. I'm just playing 3 to play 3. And then after that, we're playing 1 Link Bound. Link Bound is a quick play spell that lets you shuffle back a Link monster from your graveyard, draw cards equal to its Link rating, and then put cards from your hand back to the deck equal to the cards you drew. So pretty good for recycling the Link monsters. And that's it for the spell cards. But I felt that this was a pretty decent one to play, even though we're playing Beat Bison. And then, you know, Circle's kind of like a mandatory 3 of. And then after that, for our traps, this is a pretty trap-heavy deck. I'm playing 3 Salamangreat Roar. This is their counter trap. It's pretty insane. So this says, when a spell or trap card or a monster effect is activated while you control a Salamangreat Link monster, negate the activation. If you do, destroy that card. While this card is in the graveyard, if a Salamangreat Link monster is Link summoned to your field using a monster with its... If a Salamangreat monster is reincarnated Link summoned, you can set this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. So it just, and you can only activate 1 Salamangreat Roar effect per turn, and only once that turn. So a lot of like super hard once per turns on this thing. On a lot of the Salamangreat stuff, but this card is pretty insane, being able to reset itself as a counter trap. Definite 3 of, just like no point not to run 3. After that, I'm playing 2 Salamangreat Rage. So this says, activate one of these effects. Send a Salamangreat from your hand or face-up field to the graveyard, then target a card on the field and destroy it, or target a Salamangreat Link monster you control that was reincarnated Link summoned. Destroy cards your opponent controls up to that monster's Link rating. That's pretty dope too. So it can just pop stuff, or it can pop like potentially 3 things. So after that, the last Salamangreat trap I run is 1 Salamangreat Gift. Salamangreat Gift is pretty interesting. So it says you can discard a Salamangreat monster, send a Salamangreat from your deck to your graveyard, then draw a card. If you control a Salamangreat Link monster that was reincarnated Link summoned with, you can discard a Salamangreat monster, draw 2 cards. So that's the main reason I'm playing it, is just for the draw 2, but it's also pretty interesting to dump 2 and just set up the graveyard. And then after that, for the non-Salamangreat trap, 3 goes in match. Hit my lamp. No reason not to play this. This comes in the structure deck as well, and it's just insane. So basically it locks you into fire, but since like the entire deck is fire monsters, it doesn't matter. And then, you know, it locks your opponent out of other stuff. So, but there we go. And then for the extra deck, that's it for the main deck. For the extra deck, we have 3 Salamangreat Heat Leos. Heat Leo is the main card that you're going to be reincarnating Link summoned in this deck. And so he needs 2+ fire effect monsters, and his effect is, if this card is Link summoned, you can target a card in your opponent's spell and trap zone, shuffle it into the deck. Once per turn during your main phase, if this card was Link summoned using Heat Leo as material, you can target a face-up monster on the field and a monster in your graveyard. The attack of the first target becomes equal to the other targets until the end of this turn. So he can basically shrink some monsters, which is pretty cool. But yeah, he's their main boss monster. And then after that, for the other one, I'm playing 3 Salamangreat Balinks. When Balinks is Link summoned, you can add 1. He needs a level 4 or lower Cypress monster. So this is actually like, you can use Lady Debug to summon this. His effect is, if this card is Link summoned, you can add a Salamangreat Sanctuary from your deck to your hand. If a Salamangreat card you control will be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. You can only use each effect of Balinks once per turn. So this is just the Link 1 for the deck. Pretty dope that all it needs is a level 4 or lower Cybers. So, you know, when you do get the Lady Debugger, you can normal summon it and then send it for this, and then start popping off with your Salamangreats. But yeah, those are the Salamangreat Link monsters. For the other Link monster I run, I only really run the 1 Flame Administrator. Of course, Dual Little Chimera also comes in the structure deck, so if you feel like running Dual Little Chimera, you can. But I only decided to play the 1 other Flame Administrator. And then for the last card in the extra deck, I play 3 Mirage Stalio. So Mirage Stalio is pretty dope. Its effect is that it needs 2 level 3 monsters. You can detach a material from this card, special summon a Salamangreat monster from your deck in defense position. Also, you can't activate monster effects for the rest of this turn except fire monsters. If this XD summon card is sent to the graveyard as material for the Link summon of Salamangreat, you can target a monster on the field, return it to the hand. You can only use each effect of Mirage Stalio once per turn. So that's pretty cool, being able to just special summon a dude out of the deck and then also you know, spin something back when it's used as material, because you can make this, and then like going second, you could make this and then make Balinks out of it. Actually, no, you can't make Balinks out of it. But you could, you know, link this into Heat Leo and just it's pretty good, especially when you start adding Sunlight Wolf into the deck, which is their Link 2. You can start doing a lot more. But yeah, that's it for this deck. And like I said, this is just using 3 of the structure decks, and I feel that this deck is pretty good already. Just as it is, there definitely are some cards that are more bricky than the others, but as far as like, you know, 3 structure decks put together go, I feel that this one's pretty dope. You don't really need too much outside support because from what I've seen, the outside support is pretty minimal. Especially since this deck has Ash Blossom in it and Goes and Match. It has a bunch of really good stuff in it. But yeah, anyways, I hope you guys like this. And of course, I am going to be coming out with a more competitive version that uses the Lady Debugs and uses more outside stuff for this deck. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I have a Patreon down in the description if you want to check that out. And I will see you guys in the next video.